Hey, this is Ben from TechLockdown.com, and today I want to show you how to block gambling apps on an iPhone or iPad. Since we're dealing with addictive apps in this video, I'm going to really focus on bypass prevention and effective and comprehensive app blocking that adults can use on an iPhone or iPad. So this means that there's two types of ways to block apps that might work for other use cases that I do not recommend using for blocking gambling apps. The first way to block an app that I don't recommend, which is common advice, is to use screen time app restrictions to prevent yourself from accessing gambling apps or disabling the App Store or blocking apps based on an age rating of 17 plus. The reason is that an adult cannot reliably prevent themselves from bypassing screen time, and screen time is not going to pick up the version of the app that you can access within Safari or another web browser. So it's not a good fit for an adult, even if you give another, like an accountability partner, your screen time pin. There's still too many ways for you to get around screen time that I just don't recommend using it. Another piece of bad advice that I see very frequently recommended to people dealing with like gambling addiction is to download a gambling app blocker from the App Store. The reason you don't want to do this is that all apps designated as app blockers depend on screen time access to work properly. And if you're an adult who owns the phone, it's very easy for you to revoke that app's permission to work properly, which effectively bypasses it completely. The only scenario where either one of those approaches could work if you're an adult on an iPhone or iPad is if you've set up an Apple account with an age below 18 and you have an accountability partner add you to their Apple family. And in that case, screen time restrictions and app blockers can be enforced pretty reliably. But a lot of adults don't do this because it's generally not practical or advised for an adult to use an Apple account with an age rating below 18. So with all that being said, there is an alternative approach you can use, which is to set up supervised mode on your iPhone or iPad. And supervised mode gives you access to app restrictions that are better for adults. You can then use an Apple config generator like the one we have at Tech Lockdown to use an allow list blocking approach so that the only apps approved on your device are the ones that are added to that list. And you can use profile locking to prevent yourself from updating this list if you're self-managing, or you can have an accountability partner manage it. Now, this approach only handles the apps that you can download from the App Store. It's not covering all of the websites you could access in Safari that might give you access to the equivalent gambling app. So you could try entering in all of the most popular gambling website URLs into the Apple config generator to prevent yourself from opening them in Safari. But this technique doesn't scale very well since there's so many gambling websites that you have to account for. A better way to do this is to use a DNS content policy, also like the one we have at Tech Lockdown, to block websites based on a category. So in Tech Lockdown, you would go to the content policy section, create a new block rule, and then select the gambling website category to block, the millions of gambling websites. Supervised mode, the Apple config generator, and the DNS content policy work really well together for making a reliable gambling app blocking system because you can use the Apple config generator to prevent yourself from getting around the DNS content policy, and supervised mode makes it so that it's much harder for you to undo the app restrictions you've set up for yourself. If you have any questions about how to block gambling apps on an iPhone, please leave a comment below. Also, check out techlockdown.com for more free guides and advice.